1022, welcome back. Halloween is 1 week away, and we know it's a fun night for kids and families, but we want to make sure we're doing our part to help you stay safe.
Yeah, so whether you're going trick-or-treating or staying at home and giving out candy, there are safety precautions to take. Joining us this morning is our good friend, Rania Minkerian, CEO of Crime Stoppers Houston. Rania, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's start with those that are going trick-or-treating. How do families come up with a good plan, a good safety plan?
So we want to have a holistic approach. So one, how old are your kids? Do they want to go alone? Because that's the big question.
That's a big deal,
do they want to go alone with friends, or are they okay with mom and dad going, or an adult going with them? That's like the biggest question. And then you have to think of your neighborhood. You know, what type of neighborhood do you live in? What time of the night do they want to go? And then you want to be able to have conversations with them. If you feel yourself tugging back a little, not wanting to have serious conversations with them, you might intrinsically be telling yourself they're not mature enough to go alone yet. That's a whole other thing that I want parents to really stop and think about.
Yeah.
How do you have that conversation with them about going alone or tagging along?
I have a really unique rule. It's age, maturity, and honesty, and that's whether or not you want to get them a cell phone, whether or not they want to go out alone for Halloween, considering their age, and obviously as parents we're going to have an idea what age we feel comfortable with. You want to have a honest conversation about what can go wrong and then see what their answers are. So I always say, you know, my middle daughter, when she said, well, I want to go alone, I said, okay, well, what if you go up to a house with all the lights off? She said, well, I don't want to be rude. I still want to knock on the door and look through the window. So she's telling me she's not mature enough. My oldest daughter was like, well, no, if the lights are off, obviously they're not participating. I keep walking. So their answers.
So it's you having to pick up on these cues.
Yes, and then talking them through it. And you know what? There's a way for mom and dad to participate without it being overbearing for kids. And then let's just talk about the teens who are maybe old enough to go alone. Are they going to have their location on the whole entire time? Are they going to be super friendly with every stranger that walks up to them? Are they going to be careful about what they take from people? Because, you know, there are other substances that are making their ways into communities now. We want to think about all of that stuff and still keep Halloween fun.
All good points.
As a parent, you know, you obviously have different age children if you have more than one child. What do you say to them when you're warning them about maybe different scenarios? I am not very good at this because I try to channel Rania in my head, but I'm like, maybe I'm scaring my children, you know, because I'm telling them, you know, maybe too much. Right.
Well, that's the thing. And I always say when we get on a plane, we don't cover our children's eyes and ears when they're doing the safety measures, right? Because it's not meant to scare them, it's meant to empower them. So what are the realistic things you worry about? Obviously, pedestrian safety. Kids are twice as likely to be killed by a car on Halloween. If strangers approach them, how are they going to respond? And really what we're saying is just be on the lookout for strangers that might want to tag along with you. People that approach you to come inside, dogs that might be you know, not on a leash and wandering around. How do you handle that? If you get separated from your group, what is your plan? If someone approaches you or you feel uncomfortable, what are you going to do? These aren't necessarily scary. They're actually very organic parts of the day. And if you feel like it will scare them, then they're truly not old enough to handle this night on their own.
Yes.
Let's talk about candy safety. That was a big deal in our household growing up. It was the rule that my parents had to go through the candy before we were able to dig in.
Because there are just people out there that, you know, when I was young, I remember my brother took a bite out of a Snickers bar and there was a pin in it.
I've never known anybody.
Yes.
We all had our generation was like there could be a pin or a
needle.
razor
needle.
But I never knew anyone. Oh my gosh.
This is in New York or Jersey?
New Jersey, yes. When I was growing up and it happened.
So, you know, you don't, again, want to be paranoid, but the reality is, and you guys just had it at the break, fentanyl poisoning is a real concern. And fentanyl is making its way into a lot of colored candy looking products. And I don't mean over-the-counter candy, but as people try to smuggle it in, they want it to look different than a regular pill. So they're starting to color them. My fear is a house where maybe a young child is buying these products online, it can get in the hands of the giveaway basket, you know, that kids are. So I just want kids to say, look, go, take carefully. You know, you don't be one of those kids that scoops up everything from the thing. But we're not going to eat it. We're not going to eat it till we come home. And actually, the rule in my house is we don't eat any of it. My kids will go out, they have the best night, but I actually take them to Target, Kroger, HEB, and say, buy whatever candy you want, and that's what you're going to eat. And I don't know, maybe that's because I've done this for too long.
Yeah.
Right.
Not your first rodeo. Do you toss the candy that they do get?
No, we just kind of leave it. We give it away. You know, we don't necessarily throw it, but it's also like you don't need to depend on other people to get you anything in life. You know, we will supply you everything you want. You'll get all your favorites. Go have fun, but you don't need to rely on others for anything. And maybe that's extreme, but it's just a weird thing that I've always kind of instilled in my kids.
It works for you.
That's a good one. What about staying home if you're giving out candy? What should you be aware of?
So if you're staying home, giving out candy, have your houses well lit, driveway clear, pathway clear, candy wrapped, obviously dogs inside, never invite a child inside. You and I, or maybe your husband and I, growing up in the Northeast, we didn't have this culture of people sitting out on the lawns. Now in Texas or in the Houston area, I love seeing all these families sitting out on the lawn. They have the little table. You don't even have to go up to the door anymore, but that's not every neighborhood. So if you're gonna invite kids to the front door, be really welcoming and make it easy for them, but never, ever, ever invite them in.
Man, I grew up in upstate New York where there was snow some
you
years
couldn't, right?
in October. So you were trying to tussle with the ski suit under or over the costume.
Yes.
What a
The
mess.
long underwear,
Right,
under
right.
7 layers
Yes.
of costume.
Nobody was sitting out on their lawns passing out
No.
candy. They were inside by the fire,
Yes.
bundled up.
Oh.
I miss that though.
But
I know.
we want everyone to have fun.
Have fun,
Yeah.
enjoy the holiday. I will say pedestrian safety 5 to 9 is when fatalities increase. 6 to 7 is the most dangerous hour. If you go out with your kids, be really mindful of crossing streets, make
Yeah.
sure your costumes are well lit. And if you have young drivers who are excited to drive on Halloween with their friends, they need to be really
Yeah.
careful too.
Yes.
During the 8 o'clock hour, we had a conversation with AAA and how to make your costumes safer
Yes.
so other people could see. And it was fascinating. It was kind of disturbing to me to see the number of costumes that are not bright,
I
that
know.
do not have those reflector strips. And so they were showing how you can go to a store, buy the cheap reflector tape for less than $2 to put on the back of your cape or to put
Right.
on the back of your dress, just to be visible.
And those are really important things we need to be talking about because Halloween, especially for young girls, especially in the teen years, is more about
Yeah, showing off.
showing off,
yeah.
right? I'm not going to ruin my costume with reflective tape, but if they understand that they're twice as likely to get hit by a car, lose their life, you want to really nudge them. And if it's not on their back, maybe it can be on whatever bag they're carrying, but it's got to be somewhere that's visible.
Yeah.
Because God forbid a child gets struck, and it happens. It happens twice
does.
as much on Halloween.
Those glow sticks are good too.
Oh, that's
My
good.
kids we were at a family party and it was really dark and they were carving pumpkins in like the fence and they had the glow sticks on, but I could see them
Yes.
really clearly with the glow sticks.
And it's sort of a 2023 solution is look, make sure your phones are charged and have your flashlight on.
that's a good-
You
that's a
know,
good tip,
that's
yeah.
not embarrassing anybody,
Yeah.
but you know, everyone can see that flashlight when you're walking because it's so bright. And kids have their phones with them.
I remember the pumpkins, some of the pails, those used to glow in the dark.
Yes.
Yeah, remember you put the candy in the glow in the dark pumpkin?
You're reminding me of my childhood.
I know. It's going to be fun.
We're
Just
old.
Be safe.
No.
Be safe.
No.
You're not old. Be quiet.
Stop!
Stop. That's the
I
last thing I
know.
needed to hear today.
Rania.
I said we collectively are
I
old,
mean
not you.
you.
Yeah, right.
You, not us.
Thank you always.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you
for
can
these
go to
great tips.
crime-stoppers.org to learn more.
more
Okay.
tips.
Thanks so much.